Victory. Well, with 17 minutes and 51 seconds, today being a beautiful Saturday, the local Victory dealer had hot dogs, hamburgers, and a test ride. I'll pass on the beef, but I decided to take a Victory cruiser. What do they call this? The Accord is the Cross Tour. That's a car. I forget. Yeah, but I'm a critical guy, so I'll figure out the name later on. It's got a Freedom V-twin. I looked at buying a Victory back in '99 when I bought my Fat Boy in early 2000. I don't know what model this is, but it's got a fairing, which is what I want. It's got a radio, got an electronic display. Just rode it probably 20 or so miles, 30 kilometers out into the country. Ralph's garage. Took some pictures of myself and we'll look the bike over. Aesthetics is all personal. It's kind of sort of high-tech look. There's no classic look about this thing. Instead of your tubular crash bar, it's got this giant cast and chromed sort of a wing rear spoiler. Looks like it's got room there for some fog lights or maybe highway pegs of some sort. 106 cubic inches, 6-speed transmission, air-cooled. It's got an oil cooler, electric start, of course. When's the last time you saw a Kickstarter? Anti-lock brakes, I didn't use those. Got these skinny little turn signals. But the usual critic that I am, I'm going to be a little critical of the bike. I want to buy a Street Glide, but they're $20,000 in two-tone, 19.9 or 19.6. This is 18.6, $1,000 less. Now, why would I want to save $1,000 to buy a mystery motorcycle? 2-year warranty, available with luggage for the back. Got this saddlebag system here, glossy black paint on the outside, nice rubber seal. Put your luggage in here. I'd like to have the extra luggage in the back as well. Looks like an LED tail light. Criticisms of the bike. I opened her up, had it up to way above 55 miles an hour, which is the limit on these country roads. And let's see, I tried the cruise control, and it's clunky. When you disengage the cruise control or when you press the button to accelerate, clunk, 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 and it reminded me of a shaft drive that my buddy used to have. He had two. He had a Suzuki Intruder 1400 monster cruiser, and then he had a Honda Valkyrie. This has got a belt drive, just like that garage door that I just repaired last week. And every time you're on and off the throttle, cruise control or with this twist grip, clunk, 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 it's pretty severe. I'd have to try it on the Fat Boy and see if the Fat Boy is that clunky. Air cooled, we said that. Got a bunch of wires here that are just hanging out in the breeze. There's a crankcase breather, I suppose. What's with these wires just sort of sitting here in a snake's pit? Could have been cleaned up, I bet you. Wonder how long it'll be till the Victory guys in the factory, wherever that is, discuss the issues that I'm going to bring up on this video. Something else the salesman said was that it's 100% American made. Well, he didn't say it was 100%, but what he did say, some pieces here need to be chromed. What he did say was that Harleys are 60% made in India, and I made some negative, crappy comment, some bigoted, racist comment, but we won't get into that right now. Mine just bought a Heritage Softail, 2 or 3-year-old bike, in beautiful shape, and his shifter was as loose as this. And he put a new bushing in it, but this bike is brand new. I bet you it's got less than 1,000 miles, 1,600 kilometers, probably a lot less, but I don't really think that's going to be as loose as that. I think on my Harley, when I took off my rear shifter, I put a spring kit on and it took away some of that slop. I put a grease fitting on it, but it's just not sized right. That is loose. Yep. Loose in every direction. Loose this way, loose this way. It's too big of a hole for too small of a bolt. On to the next criticism. The squeezies for the clutch and the brake are too skinny. I'd like them to be a bit wider, personal taste. They got a little snap place there where they bust in case you tip the bike over. Better than braking over here, then you have no clutch or no brake if it breaks off over here, so better to brake over there. Mirrors Here's a small teardrop style, but they got this 1/8 of an inch or 3/16 black gasket that holds in the glass. But I tell you, that mirror is real small. I'd like that mirror to be a 1/4 inch bigger, which would give you a 1/2 inch total overall. It's pretty small. I was looking behind me and I wish they were bigger. Handlebars have a nice pull-back rake. That was nice. Stereo system sounds good. I listen to the news, you know me, NPR. I did notice that when you speed up, the sound level increases. Horn. You got to hear this horn. Crank her up. Electric fuel pump. Listen to this. That's pretty winky dinky. Sounds a lot worse when you're riding right along. Could definitely use a twin horn. I noticed some of the Japanese bikes stick the horn right out in the breeze where it's friggin' ugly. At least this one's hidden. Well, you don't have to look at it, or everybody else has to look at it. Yeah, hidden behind the little fairing. Goes down the road nice. Got some vibration in the foot pegs. Don't know how that compares to my Harley really, but I seem to notice it in this quite a bit. 60, 70 or so miles an hour. I'm not sure if it's better or worse. How does it pull? Well, above 1500 it pulls. It's got a quiet factory exhaust, so can't really judge it unless you're beside somebody in the same gear and or you're using a stopwatch. Brakes work well. Rides real nice. I got on it. Squeak, 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 squeak. Little Belleville flat spring washer, thin washer. Get rid of that potential squeak area and some slop. I got on it and rode it right away, so it feels real good, real fast. Felt real comfortable. I'm not going to do a riding video. It's not my motorcycle, so I'm not going to ride along and make a video while I ride. So there's my critiques and commentaries on this bike. I don't like the seat. Some people like a nice spongy soft, like a gel seat that you sink into. I don't like that. I felt like I was sinking into it like a waterbed. I like my hard seat on the Harley better, but that's a matter of personal taste. Well, bike goes down the road. I also noticed when you're shifting gears, the display delays 1 to 2 seconds, radio down. So if you shift it to 4th or 5th gear, it doesn't show the display for 1 or 2 seconds. So you shift 1001, 1002 until the display lights up. Sometimes a bit less, sometimes a bit more. But I also noticed when you're in neutral, I'm in neutral now, but when you're in a gear, you pull the clutch in. Can't shift it now. The bike's got to move. When you're in neutral, you can't tell what gear you're in. The display just goes to a bunch of horizontal lines. Would have been nice if they would have set the clock. It's been flashing 12, 12, 12 like the old-fashioned clock radios from 100 years ago. Nowadays they just display some smooth bars. It shows me getting 39 miles per gallon. My fat boy gets 42, 43, 44, so I guess the 1700 cc 1740 was it? Compared to my 1450 sucks a bit more juice. But you don't ride one of these to save fuel. Want to save fuel, you buy a scooter. So a few criticisms on it. I'm going to bring it back now and I'll tell Mrs. CW I took it for a test ride later on. I don't know how it handles. I'm not a handling kind of guy. It seems to feel nice. Has a good, nice feel to it. No better, no worse than my Harley. It just kind of sort of vibrates a little bit in the foot pegs over the speed limit. I don't know if my Harley does it that much. Maybe it does. Windshield could be an inch higher. Personal taste. No big deals though. Nothing to cry home about and say, listen, I'm not riding this motorcycle. As far as price, well, I'm not ready to buy it. I got to check the colors. Look around, shop around. If I bought one, I'd want it accessorized. I want some of the pieces sent off to the chrome department. And maybe I'd do some of the modifications myself, like putting in a little Belleville gizmo there. Get rid of that slop in the linkage. As far as that, that's their deal. You gotta put a bushing in that and drill them to fit. Get rid of that looseness. That's my opinion. I just don't think it's right when you buy something brand spanking new. That one's really loose. Yep. Got Heim joints here, which are little sort of ball bearings, kind of, sort of. That are nice and tight, and they got this pivot point here. And that snake's pit of wiring. That could be cleaned up so easy with a bunch of tie wraps and some corrugated plastic looming. Or a little chrome tube. This clutch release. It's pretty Jap cable, exposed cable with this little crank there. That could be gussing up a bit when they got this beautiful casting for the rear foot peg. Then they have this ugly clutch thing here in the zinc ready to turn white with corrosion. I'm a big critic, I know. I'm beating on them. I'm also curious about the 60% India content on the Harley. I'll show the display again. The radio increases as you increase your speed. I mentioned that already. Horn's kind of sucky.
Also, because that was the other wheel that the scooter had thought.
How's the stereo sound?
To find somewhere quiet.
Where's the noisy station? I'm sure it sounds good. I'm sure it sounds good. 86 degrees right now outside. Kind of annoying that that display is delayed when you shift gears. It delays a second, then when you're downshifting it just shows 2 bars when you pull the clutch in. I'm surprised it hasn't got a neutral safety switch that you have to pull the clutch in to start it, like the Japanese bikes. You can start this bike in gear, which I think is a dangerous thing. The Harley's like that, so is this. You can start this bike up in gear, which we'll do right now. Let's see, key on, and neutral. Otherwise it'll take off down the road, I think. I'm not going to try it. And press the start button. Fires right up, but that's fuel injection. Rumble, rumble. Yeah, too bad I won't ride it with the camera. I'm not going to do that, not my motorcycle. You wouldn't hear that motor vibrating away if it had loud pipes. I told you that would vibrate. You hear it? Right there. Yeah. Don't like loose parts. I also like the key better up here, but whatever. All right, we're gonna crank this baby up. I got some self-portraits, and thanks for watching. I'm gonna work on the Spider at Ralph's Garage. Goodbye. All right, I'll do you a favor. I'll do a ride off. I got it on self-timer movie. You hear it crank up, you'll hear me cruise off and cruise back into the scene, but I'm not going to ride the bike with the camera, not my motorcycle. I want to get the guys at Victory too bent out of shape. Crank her up! Rides real nice. They say it's a growing trend at the Victory dealership. People trading in their Harleys. Get 106 cubes of Made in America power. I just want to find out if Harley's really making 60% of their stuff in India, like my transmission parts for my 4L80. All right, we're going to go for a ride. Thanks for watching from Ralph's Garage. Always a good time. Take care. I'm off on my Victory, at least for another few minutes.